Here are some of the many things we don't know about heptapods. Greek, hepta 7, pod, foot, 7 feet, heptapod. Who are they? Trying to answer this in any meaningful way is hampered by the fact that, outside being able to see them and hear them, the heptapods leave absolutely no footprint. The chemical composition of their spaceship is unknown. The shell emits no waste, no gas, no radiation. Assuming that the shells communicate with each other, they do so without detection. The air between the shells is untroubled by sonic emission or light wave. How do they communicate? Here, Louise is putting us all to shame. The first breakthrough was to discover that there's no correlation between what a heptapod says and what a heptapod writes.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheapseat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
For greater good.
This is episode 208, and tonight we're talking about Arrival. I wrote in my notes The Arrival, and then I did an IMDb search. The Arrival is a different movie, so we're watching Arrival.
Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. I am Sean Allred, and joining me tonight is Andrew CGI Hair Jimison. You're muted.
Yep. I wish I had some of that CGI hair. I could use it a little bit.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. You know,
I've got a beautiful head of hair.
Reading.
Just so you know, look at that. Oh, it's just luxurious.
Luscious.
Luscious.
Luscious and luxurious kind of formed one new word. Luscious.
Yeah.
Luscious.
Yeah. By the time I'm 42, I'm gonna have the Patrick Stewart just like around the side. A ginger Patrick Stewart. That's great. Corny. I kind of want to know what they ate, Logan. Okay. Corny is here. He's having technical difficulties, I think. Maybe technically he is the difficulty. I don't know. So he'll pop in whenever he can.
Up. Yeah.
And Sam.
Using the P32 voice modulator.
And Sam, did Nolan direct this?
Martians.
Vector.
You gotta love time travel. Yeah. Or is it travel?
It's not really travel. It's just time stretching.
Time. Yeah.
Time manipulation, I think, is a.
I love it. Nolan did it better.
Well, he does. I mean, he does do that very well. So let's pull up a comfy chair and dive into this movie. Arrival came out in 2016. Won an Oscar for something. I can't remember what. He was nominated for Best Picture. And it won an Oscar for something. I just can't remember what. Best achievement in sound editing.
Oh, well, that makes sense. When you got a bunch of hippopotamuses and dolphins breeding in the tank behind the hepapods.
And spiders. They use spiders as part of that, too.
Yeah.
So, anyway. The Arrival with your Lois Lane in it and your Hawkeye.
DC crossover there.
You got a Marvel DC Star Wars crossover with Forrest Whitaker as your Star Wars character, person. So, we're just kind of all over the place, which is great. And I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about this. Corny has kind of already let slip his feelings about it. And I would love
He said he loved it, right?
I would love for his microphone to work so that we can talk about it. But until then, we'll start off with Andrew. His keyboard I can hear, nothing else. So anyway, Andrew, if you can kind of give us what is Arrival.
A linguist is recruited by the military to communicate with alien life forms after 12 mysterious spacecraft land around the world.
All right. Right on.
How about now?
Oh, hey.
Hey,
there
he
it
is.
Stupid sons of... Not you guys. Technology. Yeah. Anyway, what's up?
Oh, nothing. It's just a little whatever. So we were just getting the review of not the review. We're getting what the heck this movie is. It's directed by somebody.
Fred Savage.
Fred Savage. Wow, what a weird. Denis Villeneuve. Villeneuve is a French-Canadian film director.
See?
Does that mean that he's a quiet, gentle bastard?
I don't know.
Oh. What is that noise? I keep hearing
it's Corny's keyboard. He's mouse clicking his.
Nobody in France listens to us.
No. Actually, no. You're right. No one in France does listen to us. We do have Canadian listeners, but they're not. I don't think they're French. I don't think they're French Canadian.
Well, when I said kind and quiet, that's what I meant by Canadian. The bastard part was French.
So. Whatever. Anyway, we don't really have enough listeners anyway to insult at this point, so it's fine. But he did just direct recently the new Blade Runner 2049, which I really want to see.
Yeah.
I heard nothing but fantastic things about it. Sicario, I heard, was also really great. I haven't watched anything else he's done, or even really heard of much of what he's done. Though, apparently, he did a segment on the cosmos in '96.
Oh, hey. So he's good pals with
Carl Sagan.
I don't know. Carl Sagan.
Yeah.
Not Carl Sagan.
Yeah, Carl Sagan.
No, in 96. Okay, never mind. Not the new one. Not the
no.
Frank Lloyd Wright. God, what's his name?
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yeah.
No, what? Are you talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson?
There you go. I was
Two playwrights and then the physicist. That was great. He did write something called Rated R for Nudity, which was a short.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It was cold.
Yeah. There was shrinkage. Anyway, so yeah, this movie. I think I put it on the list. I can't remember if it was me or somebody else. It might have been. I think it was me. Just because I kind of wanted to see it when it first came out. It looked interesting in the theaters, and I'm really glad I watched it. But sometimes we say that for movies that we never want to watch again. Like Wolf of Wall Street. Glad I watched it, but I never want to watch it again.
Oh, I've watched it twice since then.
Yeah?
I subjected Kimberly to it.
Oh, how did she do to the language and all the boobies?
It was a train wreck. It's a train wreck. She thought about the same way, or thought of it the same way.
Okay, but did she cover her eyes or her ears?
Oh,
2/3 of the movie.
No.
I know
she's a big girl. She can handle it.
Yeah, but when the only movie you've ever seen is The Wizard of Oz, the world can seem Hollywood can seem scary and dangerous
and dark.
Yeah. Cool. Well, then I guess Andrew, I'll let you start off and let us know kind of what your initial impressions are of Arrival.
Okay. This I'm sure you'll talk about in the trivia and later on, but to know that this was based on a book with a different title, had it been called The Story of Your Life or whatever the book title was,
Story of My Life,
I would not have wanted to watch this movie.
Sure.
Because I would have known up front that it's really a chick flick disguised as sci-fi. which that's how I kind of see this film.
Really?
Because if this were on Hallmark with some bad actors, my wife would love this.
Interesting.
But having said that, I kind of did like the movie. So I enjoy a good puzzle in a movie and something that makes me think. And I kind of saw it coming before, but I didn't know for sure that I was correct. And that's what I like in a movie. It kept my attention mostly, but not 100%. So that my rule of it's a good movie if it keeps me focused, kind of applies here, because I did want to keep watching it to make sure that it was the right answer that I had in my head.
Going where you wanted it to go.
Right. So I don't know. I'm kind of lukewarm to it. I thought some of the stuff was cool. Some of the symbolism was cool. They talk a lot about palindromes and also about there was something that I don't want to spoil a lot of your trivia you might have later, but there's something about the ship getting so far off the ground that I'm sure maybe we'll discuss later. If you read that part, did you read?
Did what?
John doesn't read.
Did I read what?
There's a part in the trivia about the ship getting like 28 feet off the ground.
Yeah. Because in the novel, the source material, basically the idea is that if they came all this way, they're not going to touch the ground because they expect us to go in the last 28 feet. It's like,
which was kind of cool, and I didn't think about that until I saw it in the trivia.
Yeah, it's like in Hitch, like she comes 90, you come 10.
Right.
So or you go 90, she comes 10. That's what it is.
Yeah. And stuff like that made the movie a little more interesting, but I didn't think about it when I was watching the movie. It was just not a really deep thinking movie to me in that aspect. I mean, it was a deep thinking movie, but it wasn't. I don't know.
It was more, how are they talking to each other? How are they going to talk to each other?
Right. And I did find that the topic of the linguistics and her being a linguist, and I don't think there's many movies out there dealing with that subject, really. Mm-hmm. And then when she started talking about Aborigines in Australia, and it got me thinking, okay, when we Europeans came to America and met Native Americans for the first time, indigenous peoples, it was probably the same type of experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, I kind of liked it. Maybe we'll talk about it, and you'll sway me one way or the other.
All right, no worries. Corny, are you able to join us? You're muted on Google Hangouts. Oh,
hello.
There he is.
There you are.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out. Anyway,
do we need to go to Sam or?
No, we're good. I'll just keep working on it as we go through.
Okay. Has it been that long since you participated in a podcast? You forgot how to do it?
He was here last week, wasn't
he? Yeah. Speaking of which, when you said good to have you back, I was like, I was there for the one previous.
Were you? I can't remember.
We didn't have things. Sorry. Anyway, that's fine. This is the dumbest movie. This movie was shit. Yes, it was. It was a chick flick disguised as an alien movie, and I was into the whole let's learn a language. That seems kind of hard, and then it wasn't. See, I don't appreciate the bait and switch. And personally, if you blow up half of my ship or try to, I'm gonna take it personally. And
they killed one of them.
Did they kill one? They did kill one.
Abbott and Costello. One was in the dying process.
Yeah, Abbott died. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the only death on film too, by the way.
So at that point in time, it should have been death and destruction, and that didn't happen. So I got an explosion, which is usually like a good thing for me, but it was ruined by just a shit ending. I'm so upset by that. There's no need for love and happiness and all this bullshit.
You do know the love and happiness is completely marred by death and divorce, right? You know that, right? This is
fine.
This is not a happy ending.
This is not a happy ending. No,
yeah, there is no happy ending.
No happy ending in this one.
Well, you know what the French say, right?
No.
Happiness is hard to find.
If you get that reference, you must tweet the show, because I would bet you that very few people have seen that movie. Oh my God.
Pardon me, ma'am.
Happiness. Oh, happiness. Leah Thompson, back when you were hot. Anyway.
You shut up about Marty's mom.
Yeah.
It's because she wanted to doink her son. You know, that happens.
It does.
West Virginia. So, no, I'm sorry. Okay, you have the power to see the future. Why aren't you rich?
Well, okay,
First of all,
we don't.
Yes.
Yeah. I guess here's what. Okay, we can go ahead and go there. I mean, I know Sam hasn't done his. Actually, we'll wait until Sam and I do ours, then we'll go there, because that's my big question of the movie. My philosophical question, quandary that I want to get into is what you just mentioned, Corny.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's good. See, here's the bad part. It's not date flick long enough to be a date movie, and it's not sci-fi long enough to be a sci-fi movie. You give me the tease of science and the bullshit of love at the end. I don't want either of those things. Just give me an alien movie with death, or kill this woman. I don't care which, but just do one of them.
Oh,
You were the most bitter man I've ever known. There's love in the Avengers movies. You like them.
Would it have been better if someone said, I'm pilot?
I fly.
I'd fly.
Yes, actually, I would have been better.
There's love in that movie.
Yeah.
There's people.
There's also a lot of explosions.
Yeah. And then you've got Leah Thompson and Ben Affleck with the animal crackers.
Leah Thompson?
No.
Liv Tyler?
Oh,
You got the initials right.
Hey, I was like, good job, man.
Yeah, that's pretty close. And we
both white women?
Yeah, and we did and we did just mention her, so I kind of get why it was still stuck in your brain too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, Sam, what do you think?
So I'm actually curious about this. Hold on, Courtney. So like, if you've seen How I Met Your Mother, Barney has a the crazy hotness scale, right? Like, if you can be crazy as long as you're this hot, right? Like you got
to be equally as hot as you are crazy,
right? And like you can't be more crazy than hot, because then you get into the weird crazy, the weird spot, right? So for corny, there can be love, romance, kissing, whatever, right? Like the sappy parts, but that must equal to or be surpassed by the amount of death and explosions that are also in the movie.
Yes,
so
that is correct.
So it's like the '90s Steven Seagal Under Siege type of movies, right?
No, those are just bad.
Well, no, I was thinking like Bad Boys 2 has some love and some romance and some other stuff, but there's still enough action. Oh hell no! Dan Marino should definitely buy this car, but I'm gonna F this one up. So not this car, but you get one just like it. Moments in the movie that surpass him making out with Gabrielle Union on the beach next to the landmines.
Yes,
which I would totally do. By the way, I'm just saying, she's hot.
What, landmines?
You do landmines? Yeah.
With Gabrielle Union, I'd take the risk. I'm just saying. Dwayne Wade married up. Okay.
Who's dragging their mic across the stage floor?
It's like worse than the mic drop. It's like the mic drag. Like they walked off stage, but the wire was still attached to them, and they're just dragging it across the floor. I can only assume it was Andrew, because he's usually the one that's messing with his microphone.
I was
my mic's attached to my
chair.
Oh, you were moving your chair. That's what it was. Okay. Sam, you're up.
Cheer my
All
ass.
right. Okay, well, I watched this thing today as I was trying to wrap up my semester and start my summer siesta, and I don't know. I think it hit me a different way today than it would have, of course, 10 years ago. The death of a child in that way always bugs me, and I don't know if I'm getting a bit cynical, but I'm almost tired of it. Where it's like, yeah, it sucks. It's horrible. It's horrible for parents, and it causes, it's horrible for the kids too. Don't get me wrong, but it seems to be a trope that's I don't know. I don't know if it's too common or overused, but I don't want to be desensitized to it either. And watching that, not knowing where this movie was going to go, because I had absolutely no spoilers. I hadn't read anything. And going through the movie, I thought it was the aliens using some sort of mind thing with her to connect language with emotion. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I had no clue that this whole thing was basically a big time loop. And that by her learning, and am I getting this right? By her learning the language, she learned how to manipulate time? Was that? Or not manipulate, but experience time in different...
Yeah, time stopped being linear for her.
Yeah. So I rather enjoyed that twist, especially dealing with the Chinese, whoever that was, general, I guess, that was about to bomb them. I enjoyed some of the technology that they were coming up with in terms of trying to talk to these things, and and the whole idea of they didn't mean weapon, they meant this gift that they were trying to give people.
Right.
And I just thought it was well made, well directed. There were some pretty damn intense scenes in this movie, and the music that went along with it just amplified it. And I liked it. I'm not going to watch it again. Don't get me wrong. But I enjoy these types of things. It reminded me a lot of Contact. Reminded me a little bit of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and that type of movie where they're exploring an idea of science fiction that makes you think outside the box. And I hate that phrase, but makes you think a little bit deeper than just a movie about language. And I really appreciate it. I actually did enjoy this movie. Sean, what do you think?
All right, cool. First off, I should have asked. I'm pretty sure this was the first time for all of us viewing this movie. I think that's fair to say. And I, too, was completely unspoiled. And I remember people talking about it a couple years ago. And, like we've had three different kind of opinions on the show so far. Like, three different voices with three different opinions. And that's kind of the way it was. I remember it was like hardcore nerds, like science nerds, more of the Trek type nerds were like, this movie was great. Then you had like other people that are like, it was dumb. And then you had people like Corny who just hate everything, who didn't like it. And
no, I don't agree. I don't disagree. I don't do anything at this point.
I really enjoyed the hell out of it.
Okay,
the movie followed.
I thought you would with your Trekkiness. I thought this would be right up your alley.
I mean, this could be like a Star Trek episode almost. I mean, it was very Trekky, lots of thinking, and just the fact that there's some kind of time manipulation sort of thing happening kind of gives it a Trek feel too. And it also follows my rule of, if the fewer notes I take, then the more I like the film, because I was sucked in. And,
oh man!
And the movie had me at the word go. I mean, because it did the thing that I think we all did. Was at the beginning of the movie, it shows us this kind of, it was like the first 5 minutes of Up. Right?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Which I think we all thought that that's what this was. Like, okay, that's her backstory, and now here she is, this college professor.
She's broken.
Right, this broken woman who's this college professor who all she has in life now is her work, which she must be really good at her job to afford a house overlooking a lake like that. I'm just saying.
Some college professors actually did.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty nice. If she's doing government work on the side, she probably gets a pretty good paycheck for that too. So I liked the dialogue in the movie. The only thing I had a hard time with, and it's funny because this one movie won an Oscar for sound editing, is I had a hard time understanding Forrest Whitaker. I don't know why. I couldn't understand him. Whenever he talked, I had to turn the volume up. But my daughter was sick at home today, and she was napping during when I was watching the movie, so I couldn't really turn it up as loud as I wanted to. And my sound bar in my living room isn't exactly great. I probably should have watched it with headphones. But I wanted to watch it on my big screen, so it was.
I thought Hawkeye did a really good American accent.
Sure, he's American, so.
No, isn't he British?
Jeremy Renner?
Yeah.
Why would you think he's British?
I thought he was British or Australian, one of those two.
What would make you think that?
Because he's Australian and he's got an accent in his interviews.
No, he doesn't. Jeremy
Yes, he
Renner?
does.
He's from California.
No, let this happen.
Are you thinking of one of the, like, Chris Hemsworth?
Well, no, Chris Hemsworth and God, not Ian Malcolm.
Ian Malcolm?
The Doctor Strange. Benedict
Cumberbatch.
Batch. And Spider-Man are also all from Britain. They got all the Avengers
Chris Hemsworth is from Australia.
He's British.
Chris Hemsworth is from Australia.
Yeah,
Tom Holland, Spider-Man.
Listen to him in the Avengers. He sounds like he is exactly. He uses his natural accent.
He's using a Norwegian accent. He's from Australia. I can't tell if you're just goading me along or if you're being serious right now. Okay, you're laughing. Jeremy Renner is 100% American. This is such a weird thing for you to do for the show. I'm just gonna pick a random actor and just pick a different nationality and just.
And you expect something different? Come on.
I don't know. Oh my gosh, whatever. And it's funny you picked him because he's like the most American. Amy Adams is from Italy. I'm surprised you didn't make
she's American. No, seriously, she's American, right?
She was born in Italy.
Adams is an American name.
Doesn't matter what her father was an American. She was born in Italy.
Just like Antonio Banderas is Spanish.
He is.
Yeah.
He actually is.
Yeah.
You're trying to say Catherine Zeta-Jones, who is
no. I mean, we all know she's Hispanic.
Yeah, she's
got to say it in the right word.
Yeah, I can't say. Yeah, you gotta be politically
Hispanic. She is a Latin American.
Yeah, she's not. So anyway,
I want to live in America.
This movie kind of came around the same time as The Martian had just come out, and we had a couple of other. Interstellar was also, we're just away from that. So we've got a lot of these kind of movies where we're getting a lot more of this sci-fi and really good sci-fi movies happening. And I mean good as in well made, well budgeted, well acted. I mean, honestly, I would put this up there in the world of Interstellar. Again, my issues with the movie aside, it's still a fine film, Interstellar, and a very well made movie. And so is this. And unlike Interstellar, I have no problems with this movie. So, but the question I want to ask though is this that Corny kind of brought up is this: once she eventually learns the language and is able to see into the future, I guess. Again, she no longer perceives time as linear like like we do. She can.
But she's the only one, I'm guessing, that gets this, right?
Correct. She's right now because she's the only one that really knows the language, and so So there's a couple of questions that I would have to ask. One is does the government know that? Does anyone else know that?
You would think the Chinese governor would think something was up.
Right, like the general man. General. Yeah. You would think that he would have figured it out because... So my note is I actually wrote, did they just Bill and Ted this moment. Remember Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, where they're like,
And there's a third one coming out, by the way.
yeah, and they're like, hey, I have to remember that we need to take the phone booth and come back to this moment and leave a wrench. Here it is, you know. So like she goes, she has this memory that hasn't happened yet until she makes it happen in the present, but it's a memory to her where she's learning new information, and then she's able to save the day, which the scene was great. I freaking loved it because it was intense, and I actually, for a moment, I thought they were going to shoot Jeremy Renner, which was, but anyway.
And he'd be like, sorry, mate, get out of my way.
Yeah, again. So I really, so I guess my question is what she is now perceiving as the future, she's perceiving it like a memory, as in it's already happened. So the question is simply, if she can perceive the future, does that mean that that's the way it is? Whatever happens is going to happen, and even though she knows it's going to happen, nothing can change that.
Well, that would tell me in terms of she can't change the future because of her kid, although it is a cancer. I don't know.
And that's the thing, is that
is this a multi-universe, multi-dimension? You know,
well, we don't. I mean, that's up for us to determine, because the movie doesn't tell us that. Because,
and I'm glad it doesn't, because it makes you wonder.
You're right, and I'm fine with that. I guess my it actually brings to me the more difficult moral question, and that is, if you know that if you have a child with this man, by the time she's 16, she will die of cancer. You know that. Do you still have the kid? And to her, the answer was yes.
I would say yes.
She knew that this child was going to die, that she was only going to get 16 years of life, and she was going to get divorced because of it, because of her power that she would eventually tell Jeremy Renner.
Well, that's why you fight cancer. You punch cancer right in the face.
That's right. So,
yeah, I think I would do it. I would not trade my kid. You know, even if I knew something, I don't think I'd trade my kid.
Right.
The time you have with them is more important than the end.
Right. And
I think, yeah.
And that's what the movie's telling us too.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's just.
But then it'll make you feel like, oh, I'm such a horrible parent.
Well, I want to be honest with that. There was a moment where I kind of realized all of this. This all kind of hit me in a moment where I was like, oh, she knows her kid's going to die.
Yeah, I was the same way.
And like I kind of got emotional for a minute, and then it was, it kind of went away eventually. But like, I don't know, for some reason, the last few weeks, my Papa Bear emotional barometer has been awfully sensitive for whatever reason. I mean, no spoilers; those are next week, hopefully. But there's a moment in Infinity War where I lost my shit. I just did, and so anyway.
I'm trying to think how to ask this question.
We will think of how to respond.
If you were to put this in...
What the heck? What's that?
We're about to have this great moment, and Corny's eating candy. I love it.
No, I was just thinking...
The hell? That wasn't me.
It came through your microphone, sir.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you. Anyway, Andrew, go on.
No, that's fine. I'm trying to think, maybe I'll just ask myself, I'm trying to think as a parent, would I rather know ahead of time than for something to happen without me knowing, or something to happen suddenly?
Right.
Well, see, then can you stop it?
Even if I couldn't stop it, would it be better to know years and years in advance than?
You know what? I think you would. I think you would cherish the time more. Tell you the truth.
Well, here's the thing about that.
If you knew,
they changed. This is what they changed. One of the things that they changed from the book.
What the heck is going on?
lots of microphone movements.
Must be me eating candy again.
In the book, the daughter dies in a mountain climbing accident, and they changed it in the movie to basically be an inoperable, uncurable disease because I think the idea was, well, if you know she's going to die on this mountain trip, don't let her go on the trip.
Stop her. Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm going hiking this weekend. Nope.
No,
You're not.
I'm locking you to the basement.
You're going to be mad at me for the weekend, but then I'll see you Monday and we'll be all right, kind of a thing. But I think that's why they changed it to a inoperable cure or a incurable disease kind of a thing. Because
that would bring up that question of choice. Do you
right? Because that's the only option you have because you can't prepare for it.
Yeah,
I take this completely different. So for me, and this is really just me, if I know that no matter what I do, my kid is going, well, let me rephrase. I know that if I meet this person and fall in love with them and then my kid's going to die, I choose not to do any of that because I don't want the kid to suffer. I feel like, and there's part of it's like, well, do you care about your kid? And the answer is yes, of course I do. But at the same time, what am I more willing to do? Is it have the love and the time, or just know that kid never suffered? And I don't know, maybe it's just for me, it's just different that way. That I choose. Well, I had my one life, and that's over now, and I don't want to go through that again. So maybe I'm just not strong enough to get through that situation repeatedly. I think I take another route. Jeremy Renner's doing the sweet thing, and I'm like, no, this will never happen. I think I say that, and I move on the second time around, the third time around, the fourth time around. I don't know, but
I don't know. I'm pretty sure if Jeremy Renner hits on you, I think you're taking the bait. I'm just saying, he's a charming man.
No, he's no Matthew McConaughey, so no sweet all rights in my ear.
He's no
lay folded at night.
Yeah. The whole issue with her being able to, or not predict, but know the future, and then him leaving her because she tells her daughter, because of what I told him, basically what was going to happen to the daughter.
Yeah.
He made that choice to leave. I had a little issue with that because I'm wondering when she told him and
how.
That was a thought I had when watching it.
I mean, there was a moment in the movie where like the kid is 8 or 9 and she's making a drawing or something, and Amy Adams says your dad loves you, kind of a moment. So it was obviously after the kid was born,
right?
But I felt like she needed to tell him so he could be prepared too, and he didn't believe her or he didn't want to believe her, and so he leaves. So,
but
go ahead, Corny.
I was just say, but okay, this is also that we have seen what you're able to do. We figured out the language. We figured all this stuff out. I mean, surely in a year you have proven to him that yes, I can see the future, or yes, these are things. I mean, even the moment where she calls the general and tells him what his dying. I mean, that should have been proof enough. So if future reader says, "Hey, we're going to have a kid, and that kid is going to die," I have to believe you if the first thing I watch you steal a sat phone, call a Chinese general, and talk him out of a full-scale war. Like,
do we know if she has full view of the future?
She has full view of her future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I think,
like
Corny,
all things, or only the important things.
Well, I think it's whatever she needs, right? I mean, again, it's like the way the movie perceives it to us. I don't know how the book is, obviously, but the way the movie shows it to us is now. Again, in the book, once she gets the language, everything like how your memory is. You remember everything for the most part, and then sometimes your memory is jogged. So, like that's how it happens. It's like a whole flood of the future smacks her in the face.
Yeah.
And then she has to piece it apart. Whereas the movie kind of gives you in plot convenient moments.
Yeah. I will say that in terms of what they were talking about being immersed in a language and all of a sudden your brain kind of kicking in, I had that experience when I was in Germany back in college, where we actually went and saw Gladiator in the movie theater, and of course it was dubbed over in German, and all of a sudden it was literally about halfway through the movie where all of a sudden I could understand everything they were saying.
Cool.
And I couldn't speak it, but I could understand it. Does that make sense?
It does.
And that's when Sam looked down and saw captions.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, no captions.
That's when that's like in Hunt for Red October when the camera zooms in on the guy and then pulls out and we're no longer got the subtitle, whatever it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it's brilliant.
That's cool. No, yeah, I mean I can't relate to that, but I get it because I don't have anything in my life like that at all. But sorry, I barely got to the button in time.
I wish that would happen with my kids with music.
Well, I mean, we've had that happen.
My students, sorry.
All of a sudden, we play a piece like we I don't know, just understand it,
Right.
or it clicks.
Yeah, I mean, there's moments in other parts of our life where, because honestly, there's a moment, and I can't remember how old I was, but I was old enough that I remember it, where I remember figuring out time. Like, oh, a quarter after 1 doesn't mean 25, like a quarter. It means it's 1/4 of a thing, and 15 minutes is 1/4 of an hour. Like, there was a moment where it clicked, and I don't remember how old I was, but I was, again, old enough to remember it. Because we're trying to teach my son the concept of time. Time to him is abstract. He understands numbers, but he doesn't understand time. So when he says, "How long can I play for?" and I say, just 2 more minutes, and then I come back 8 minutes later, and he's like, "It hasn't been 2 minutes," because he doesn't know what a minute is.
Yeah.
Good for him.
So
F your rules and F law.
that's right. Oh wait. So anyway, I don't know. It's just I was really intrigued by the way that they perceived, again, how she was, the convenient moments of the future were able to hit her. I still have a hard time believing that. I mean, what the movie doesn't show us is that after the phone call and the guys come in, they're going to handcuff her, right? Because she technically committed treason.
Treason, yeah.
And then all of a sudden China steps down and the rest of the power step down. Forrest Whitaker's going to look at her and say, "What did you say to him?" She has to answer him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? What?
Yep.
The aliens told me what to say to the Chinese general so that we wouldn't blow ourselves up? Like, that. There's a conversation that has to have been had that is of importance, because she can't say, "Well, I knew how it would happen because I've already seen it," kind of a thing, right? Because at that point, then the government's never going to let her leave. Oh,
Yeah.
really? Well, then...
Tell us how we win World War III.
Right, yeah. So, and if it only affects your future, then we're going to put you in a box. We're going to send you to a horrible place, and you're going to tell us what's going to happen to you, kind of a thing. Like, maybe I've become cynical in my old age about the government in a way I feel like they work. But I just kind of feel like
we're children of the X-Files, dude.
Yeah, you're right.
Government is bad. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say, don't worry about that. Grew up in a black household, and that'll change your perspective real quick.
I don't know why you saying black household corny triggered this. I learned a new word today.
Oh no.
And it's
All
called...
right, before you say it.
No, we're good. We're totally good. We're totally safe.
We have meetings about this, and if you say it, I'm going to have to punch you.
No, you're not going to punch me. I just never heard this term before, and I'm going to say it. It was called blurred, B-L-E-R-D. I had never heard that term before, and I saw it today on Facebook. One of my friends on Facebook, who's black, who is as big a nerd as the four of us are, and he had this picture of, the picture of the, it was a picture of Steve Urkel, and he's hugging on another girl, and I can't really describe it, but basically it was like, the girl who you want but is all these horrible things, and then I had a picture over Steve Urkel that said blurred, and then the other girl in front of him was blurred, right? And then it took me a while to figure out. I'm like, oh, that means black nerd. I'd never heard of that term. Is that new? Did you guys just come up with that?
Another thing. I'm going to speak with other people, but that doesn't seem to be a thing.
Oh, okay.
I think we have some rogue black people going around and doing stuff they're not supposed to.
All right. Well, you bring it up at the meeting. Or maybe hey,
the Black Freedom Party will not allow this.
The white folk are starting to catch on to the next thing that they're going to try to steal from us. So, anyway, just saw that and it made me think of you. I just
blurred, huh?
Blurred, yeah. I'll see if I can find it and I'll send it to you. It'll make sense in context of the image. So anyway,
oh damn.
I did like how they introed the aliens without actually showing us them at first. Like, what am I trying to say? Like they do the newscast, and they don't actually show us what's happening, and it takes a while for us before we finally actually see the basically it's a flying saucer. All right, let's just be real. It's a flying saucer
on its side.
On its side, inverted. Yeah. So anyway, where was I? I thought that was kind of cool. People seem pretty calm about all this. I did like how they kind of kept updating us on the world. That the world's kind of freaking out. I kind of feel like that's how it would be, honestly.
Yep.
Like just slowly
chaos,
freaking out. Things are kind of getting worse. Like I totally think that's kind of how it would be. I think, honestly. So anyway.
Although with our current administration, we would probably be the ones with the nuke ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Just weird noises. Nice house for Professor. Oh, you put glasses on Jeremy Renner, and we forget that he is an IMF agent and an Avenger.
Yep.
All part of his cover.
That's right.
Didn't he do this right after the Avengers? Did I read that somewhere?
Yeah, like he finished filming Civil War and then broke out of jail and came over here and did.
Because I was noticing they had him in a lot of baggy shirts to try to hide the guns that he probably put on.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me, for Avengers.
That's what my excuse is too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, is that why we all wear? Yeah, that's why I wear baggy clothes. That's exactly why.
That's why
I'm fat. Actually,
Is that why? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine.
A Dirkadur.
Military didn't warn them about the weird gravity. I thought that was kind of strange. Like, he throws the glow stick up and then it does that weird thing with the gravity.
Like chunk?
Yeah. And then he goes, oh, well, that just happened. It's like, wait, you didn't tell them ahead of time? These are scientists. These are not... I just thought that was weird.
Although, you know what? I wouldn't say anything either.
No, just kind of let them figure it out.
Hey, Chuck, watch this. These people think they're smart. Let's see them do this.
Oh my gosh, that moth is down by my legs. Sorry. There's a moth in my room and it's been attacking me, but now it's down by my feet and it's freaking me out. Here we go. Let's see. Mothra. Last couple little bits here I want to mention before we go on to trivia, or clips, I should say. We watch her wake up a lot. Thought that was weird. Like we watch her wake up a lot.
Yeah.
I just kept noticing that. Like, time for a scene change. Oh, she's waking up. Time for a scene change.
I don't mind watching her wake up.
I mean, she's
just so you know.
That's fine. You like watching her sleep, you creepy bastard.
Yeah. Well.
Corny, I just put it in the group chat. Take a look at that. I did write that guy, that military, that lieutenant or whatever he was. He pulled a Busey from Contact, tried to blow the thing up. I don't know if that's in the short story or the what is the book that it's based on, but I think we should just call it that. It's pulling a Busey is when you.
And And basically, he knew that he was sending those scientists in to blow up, right?
Yeah, well, he knew it.
Not a thing. Still not a thing.
Not a thing? Okay, that's fair. Because they're like, hey, you can't go up there. No, stop. No, you can't. Okay, let them go. You know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And
Like,
in
we
fairness, like, did they think that bomb was going to blow it up? Like, it didn't seem like a very powerful explosion. Oh, and I guess also the septopods or whatever they're called, they have force powers. Like,
Heptapod.
they pushed them.
Well, they controlled the gravity in the
Oh, that makes sense.
ship.
Okay, that makes more sense.
That's what I took from that. Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, they're Jedi. That's kind of cool.
Although they do kind of use the force to do their writings.
Yeah, a little bit.
If that's ink type of stuff, you know.
It's just a really nice etch-a-sketch.
That's true.
They've mastered the curve of the etch-a-sketch. That's the real technology they're giving us.
Yeah, that's just sketch
Is
technology.
to how to make curves on etch-a-sketch.
The last thing I wrote was, it all kind of makes sense now. I thought she was too young to have had a teenager. You know,
Oh yeah.
like at the beginning of the movie, I thought, wow, are we saying that she had this teenager when, like, she must have had this kid when she was like 17? Because she still only looks like she's 35 or, you know, whatever, maybe 40. I mean, yeah, she could have definitely had a kid when she was, a 15-year-old at, 20 or something. So
You saying Amy Adams looks old?
no, she doesn't look old.
I'm gonna tell her.
Yeah, you're going to tell her that she's not from Italy.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then
And she
Jeremy Renner is apparently Australian or British.
she's Boston.
No, that's not true at all. When she moved to America, they lived in Colorado, so you're still not.
Yeah.
You're still not right.
Well, it was New York, and she worked at her parents'
She's
McDowell's restaurant.
She's 10 years. Oh, McDowell's. She's 10 years older than my wife.
So how old is she?
10 years older than Sarah. 40 something. Well, you can do the math. So I'm saying she's 44. There you go.
Oh, see, that's not too much older than me.
No, not
That-
you. Yeah. In fact, I
that would
think
work.
she's younger than
Yeah.
you. Actually, I'm pretty sure.
That would work. Yeah.
She is beautiful. And Jeremy
It's her
Renner,
Irish ancestry.
that I would actually buy because she does
Yeah.
look Irish. I mean, her parents are American.
Yeah,
I mean,
see?
she's American. She was just born in Italy. I just want to freak you out. I just want to mess with you since you do it to me. That's it. You ready for some clips?
Let's do it.
Oh, tropes. I wrote awful backstory. You always have to have a painful backstory. And breaking protocol nets results.
Yep.
So that always is a thing. I didn't capture a lot of clips because, well, there's not a whole lot of brevity in this movie.
No.
And though there was a really big, long, freaking crazy. Like,
Yeah. A language learning montage is something I never thought I'd say on this podcast.
I mean, it was like a 10-minute montage too, long.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. First clippy clip I wrote. Just thought this was kind of humorous.
We never formally met, but 2 years ago you did some Farsi translations for Army intelligence. You made quick work of those insurgent videos.
You made quick work of those insurgents.
Yeah, he did.
Ooh, burn.
I don't know if that was a burn. Maybe it was. I don't know. Here's Jeremy Renner kind of being funny.
Yeah, that just happened.
There you go. Just happened. This is the closest we get to the name of the movie.
So, what happens now?
They arrive.
There you go. They arrive.
Boom, boom.
And the thing you mentioned about the kangaroo, I had to capture it. So here you go.
Kangaroo.
What is that?
In 1770, Captain James Cook's ship ran aground off the coast of Australia, and he led a party into the country, and they met the Aboriginal people. One of the sailors pointed at the animals that hop around and put their babies in their pouch, and he asked what they were, and the Aborigines said, kangaroo.
And the point is?
It wasn't until later that they learned that kangaroo means I don't understand, so.
So, suck it. There you go. There you go.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
That just makes me think of what movie we're going to be doing next week. No, not next week, in 2 weeks. Trivia. While the shape of the ship is decided early on, the director had a great difficulty imagining an interior that would allow humans easily to navigate through such a steep and vertical design. The later decision to turn gravity sideways offered an obvious and convenient solution. Sam or Andrew or Corny, I can't remember. One of you had the mention that you enjoyed the score of the film. Mm-hmm. And here's a little interesting note about that. I didn't mean pun, not intended actually on the note. The classical music piece that bookends the film is, quote, On the Nature of Daylight, end quote, by Max Richter. Its prominence during the film and the fact that it is a pre-existing track meant that Johann Jonassen's score was deemed ineligible for an Academy Award despite being highly acclaimed.
Oh, wow.
So
suck it.
Right?
Poor guy.
I kind of feel bad for him. That's like
Karma's a bitch.
That's like Prince saying that he did the soundtrack for Batman.
Yeah.
When 92% of the movie is Danny Elfman. And I had to. Montana is also the site of first contact between humans and the aliens in Star Trek.
I knew
First
you
Contact.
that.
So
I like how you pretend to read that fact as if you didn't know it.
as if I didn't immediately realize that when I was watching the movie. I actually didn't. It took me a while to kind of.
I call bullshit.
No, seriously. Because I couldn't remember if in the movie if it was Montana or North Dakota. I knew it was like the north midwestern part of the country where all the missile silos are, which is why it was there. So in Star Trek, not in this. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Top three. We decided to do movies with First Contact. Andrew.
Yep. Sorry, I'm trying to find my list.
No, sure.
Okay. First Contact movies. I was trying to think of movies that were First Contact that were not Alien movies.
Oh, interesting.
But I couldn't find any.
I'll say, isn't that a prerequisite though that it has to be an alien?
No, there's a lot of.
Really. I did find one example, and that would be Splash with Tom Hanks and Daryl Hannah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because he's meeting a mermaid for the first time.
Well,
I don't know
do we know that?
But anyway. So that could be my honorable mention, I guess. And then we're going to go number 3 with Super 8.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Terrible media, but that's fine.
Number 2, a cheesy yet funny, enjoyable movie, Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
And number 1 of my favorite SNL movies, Coneheads.
Oh, Coneheads, right on, yeah. There actually is no true definition of First Contact. In Wikipedia, it is considered a common science fiction theme about a first meeting between humans and extraterrestrial life, or of any sentient race's first encounter with another one, given that they are from a different planet or natural satellites. So, just because she's a mermaid, I mean, if we find a new species of spider, that doesn't make it First Contact. It's just we hadn't seen it yet. So, anyway, just... Maybe. I know, because Sam was trying to find a way to make freaking Jurassic Park work, and I'm like, well, they were here before us, so they're not aliens. They're just scary and violent, like Sam. It's corny.
All right. Well, Andrew has given me a new life into this process, so let's try this.
All right.
All right, my number 3, I'm going to go with Independence Day.
Sure.
Nice.
My number 2 is the first Thor movie.
Okay, yeah, that's actually
Very
a really
nice,
good idea. Yeah.
All right, and my number 1 with the greatest alien of all time, Superman 1.
Oh, sure.
That works.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. All right.
Not the Quest for Peace.
Oh, sorry.
Damn
Oh.
it. Damn it.
So
It
close.
has been months since I've had to freaking do a rooster tail. Okay.
I should have been drinking that and fixed it.
It's fine. Just gotta
Poor
make,
Sean.
just gotta make,
Andrew knew the button. He knew the button.
just gotta make it. Okay.
Well, in all fairness, I didn't complete the word.
Yeah, I said enough.
Yeah.
That's fine. Not a problem. I can fix it. It can be fixed. I'll fix it in post.
Just slap a explicit tag on it. It'll be fine.
No, I'm not doing that.
No.
Actually, maybe we could have more listeners. I don't know. Was that your number 1? Corny? Sorry. Superman 1. Yeah. Okay, right on. Which Superman? I'm just curious. Does it matter?
My effing Superman 1.
It doesn't matter, but I was just wondering. Like the
Brandon Fraser one.
The Zack Snyder one, or the Brendan Fraser? I would love to live in a world where Brendan Fraser was Superman.
I think did we almost have that world once?
I don't know. Oh, I would love it. Instead of Brendan Rouse, they got freaking
Rouse.
They got Brendan Fraser, the guy who killed the mummy. I love it.
When we answer that question, my order of Superman first. Actually, it will only be the 2 between Snyder and Christopher Reeve's guy, because Superman was actually Superman Returns. He was gone for a while and he came back.
Yeah, so they've already had first contact.
So Brandon Routh is
I wasn't meaning in the reference of that. I just meant like which. Let me rephrase my question. Which of the Superman movies that have been made, which is your favorite? Like, how would you order them?
Well, the first one, then Snyder, then Routh.
Okay. I just wondered, for my own edification and everyone listening's, not for any purpose of bickering.
Stupid effing book.
Whatever. Like, they were talking, one of the podcasts I listened to, they were talking about spoiler culture. And, people get really mad about spoilers, right? But then people like us read the book or read the comic book for the source material, and then we know ahead of time what's going to happen. So, like Sam says, Sean, you really need to listen. You need to read Ready Player One. The movie's coming out, so I went and read the book ahead of time, and then the movie came out, and I knew what was going to happen, but I still enjoyed the movie, even though they changed a lot of stuff for the movie, as they do, which is fine. But so how is that any different than me saying the spoiler at the end of Infinity War, which I'm not going to do, but if I did, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
because you haven't put yourself through the story to get to that spoiler. You read Ready Player One, so you went through the entire process to get to that ending, and invested yourself in it. If you just say the ending, you've just cheapened the whole process.
But so Corny goes and gets the comic book, right? And he only gets the one where the story. I don't know. I honor the spoiler culture. I kind of honor the idea of the spoilers, and let's not say anything, and so that you can kind of have that surprise on your own. But I was also slightly spoiled in Infinity War, and I didn't care because I was actually like, ooh, when does that part happen? So,
well, I knew how the comic books were going to end. So
yeah. And most people do, and they did change some things, as Corny can attest to. And Andrew hasn't seen it yet, so that's why I'm also being kind of coy with the whole thing. So
weak.
No, he said we. He was agreeing. He was pulling a joke from Finding Nemo.
Jack, stop cleaning.
Sorry,
I
am ashamed.
Come see it in Hickory, Andrew. I'll go with you.
Okay.
I'll go see it again.
That's a trap. Don't do it.
I want to see it again too, so bad. It's been a long time since a movie has made me yearn to go watch it again.
Oh, it yearns you.
It
really
For some odd reason, I heard made me pee. I don't know what. I don't know why. Yearn and pee don't have Same.
Oh, you heard what I said as made me pee. Oh, I thought you meant you just heard someone say that movie made me pee. And I thought, well, there's a couple scenes that I can actually see that happening.
Well, and it's a long movie. At one point, I did kind of have to go.
So, again, I'm staying on this subject for just one more minute, not to extend the show for any real reason other than there's a trailer. And we do this. Movies do this all the time, right? They'll show a trailer, and then we watch the movie, and that scene that's in the trailer is not there. Like, one of my favorite examples is in Rogue One, where she's walking out on that catwalk, and then a TIE fighter shows up. Like, that's not in the movie. Like, that was a test.
But it's such a cool scene.
It is a cool scene, but it's not in the movie. So there's a trailer, and they've been airing it like crazy. And it's when, I'm not going to say who, it's just that the team is running towards something, right? Clearly, it's the Wakandan team. Just going to say that because Black Panther's there, and he's surrounded by Wakandan soldiers. And someone is in the shot that isn't in the shot. That's all I'm going to say. But someone put that on Twitter, and they got blasted for spoilers. It's only a spoiler if you've seen the movie. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because Andrew hasn't seen the movie, so he's seen that trailer 32 times, and he has no idea. Now, Andrew and Sam have seen the movie, and if they watch that trailer again, they might go, oh, yeah, that's not right. But it wouldn't matter because it doesn't, because Andrew hasn't seen it, so it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I could screenshot it and put a caption like this person did on Twitter and say, this is fake news, right? Hashtag fake news. And people would jump on me saying spoiler. It's like, it's only a spoiler because you've seen it. You know the spoiler. Anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to go on that weird tangent. Actually, I kind of did. Sam.
What?
Your top three, sir.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're still there.
All right. I am going to say Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Okay.
And then give me Contact.
Okay.
With Jodie Foster and the guy from The Rock.
The Rock?
What? Yeah, isn't he in The Rock?
Nicolas Cage?
One of the military guys in The Rock.
Nicolas Cage?
No.
You're talking about me, Shunny.
No, not Sean. Her father appears to her, and it's her father in the vision that the aliens gave her.
He's not in The Rock either. He was in the No, he's in The Negotiator.
No, he's in The Rock.
No, he's not.
I guarantee it.
Oh yeah, he is in The Rock. He is in The Rock.
Thank
Yeah,
you. He doesn't have a major role, but he's kill 'em all type of person.
Yeah. He was the like second in command.
Yeah.
Hey Sam.
Yeah.
This is where you stop and go, suck it, Sean.
Suck it, Sean.
No, I mean, it's just weird that in a movie that has Jodie Foster, Matthew McConaughey, Tom Skerritt, and Tom
Skerritt.
Like you go with the guy that's in the movie for 38 seconds. Like that's why I was confused.
Yeah, my brain works like that.
Yeah, which is wrong.
No, it's right.
There's no concept of time.
Sam's brain is non-linear. That's for sure.
And then I've got to go Infinity War as my top one.
Okay.
There's lots of first contacts in that movie.
I guess. Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I have to veto that one. I will not allow it.
Why is that?
Aliens in terms of things and those monsters. I don't know. Never mind. I'll be quiet.
Has Captain America ever touched a Titan or a Thanos before?
Sure.
Any of his kind?
Well, the Chitauri are his.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess the question is, if you're saying that first contact is with each individual race very specifically, then yeah, Infinity War has first contact because because Thanos comes to Earth for the first time in the MCU.
Yeah. Rocket's first time meeting
Thor.
Okay. All right.
So I mean, in fairness, there is kind of a lot of weird first contacts in that movie. So yeah, okay. As much as I would love to disagree with Sam, I'm actually kind of with him.
Damn, it's twice.
I know, right?
It's a trap, Sean.
There will not be a third. You have pointed a gun at me twice today. There will not be a third.
Nice.
My favorite line from that movie. My three, well, two of them have already been said, Independence Day and Contact. So
Good.
I'm gonna insert The Last Starfighter.
Okay.
In as my number 2 because of that, and then my number 1, of course, has to be Star Trek: First Contact.
Nice.
An honorable mention, Galaxy Quest.
Oh,
yeah.
Galaxy Quest! That's such a great one. How did I not think of that? We need your help. Sorry.
And you know what? When they become unmasked, they kind of look like the heptagons or whatever they are.
Yeah, like if those heptapods
Pooped
out a child,
kids.
that's what they would look like all squishy and like not bony yet. Like they look like an old man's hand, like on a desk, like Thing from the Addams Family, but like in 130 years of just withered
with a
and
big tumor on his back.
Right, they're actually kind of, and this is funny, they're kind of modeled after the aliens from The Simpsons. So.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right. So anyway, that's our show, and this is where I. Oh, jeez.
Sorry.
Usually your Foley work is a little bit better than screaming to the microphone.
Tried to mute. Sorry.
Here we go.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
Out of 10, this is where you guys give me a number from 1, or I guess 0, to 10 of your score of this film. Andrew, you go first.
Yeah. I don't know. I still am.
You're still up in the air.
Still kind of lukewarm to the whole thing. I don't appreciate being tricked into watching a chick flick, and so.
You have to admit though, if this was a Hallmark movie, this is like the worst one ever because the kid dies and the husband leaves her. Like,
yeah,
that happens in all of them, though, doesn't it?
No Hallmark
happy
movies. It's the grumpy business lady meets the happy-go-lucky dude who
she completely changes her personality
and falls in love with Christmas all over
And
again.
I hate this movie a lot. So
Yeah, well,
maybe I'm thinking Lifetime then.
Well, Lifetime, Jeremy Renner would beat her, and then leave.
And then she would catch him on fire.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah, there would be some sort of revenge. Yeah.
Okay.
So we're somewhere between the two is what this is.
I agree with Sean. I mean, with Sam in the fact that it is done well. It's a pretty movie. I thought the acting was good. I don't know. I agree with Corny in the fact that I wish that it were more sci-fi and more action-y sci-fi, but I don't know. I think the movie could have been done in a way that it didn't need that and still had been good. But I don't know. There were just some things that I didn't like. The scene that you played the clip to open the show with. That whole thing I didn't need at all. And I don't know. There were just some things I didn't need.
Well, in fairness, the movie wasn't even all that long either.
No, it really wasn't.
Yeah, so
which was kind of nice. We've had some long movies lately.
Yeah. So, I'm gonna say I don't know, like a 5.8.
Okay. Okay. Corny.
straight on 4. There's it was not the worst movie ever, but I was really not happy with a lot of these things. So just a 4.
Okay. 4. Sam.
All right. I enjoyed it. I don't want to watch it again, but I'd probably recommend it to somebody like my parents. I'd probably give this sucker I need to give it a solid 7.1.
All right.
That was pretty good.
But
damn them for killing children. These movies seem to kill lots of children lately.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm gonna give it a. That's funny, Sam. You gave Spaceballs the exact same thing. This is funny. 7.1.
Yeah.
I thought this movie was really well done. I enjoyed it. I don't think that Amy Adams was deserving of an Oscar, and no one.
No.
This was the first time I think in like 20 years a film had been nominated for Best Picture, but no one on the cast was nominated for an Oscar for acting. Frankly, I could have used more Jeremy Renner and his science. I mean, if you get a physicist, give me some Big Bang Theory physicist stuff, man. Like that's kind of what I want, you know. And I'm okay with a little techno babble. Give me some of that stuff. That's fine. And my intro, I captured that simply because I thought it was interesting. He says, "This is what we don't know about the things," and then he goes and describes them specifically and where we get the name. Like, it was a weird sentence structure, which is why I captured. It's like, this is what we don't know about these things. Here's what, and then it describes them, and then goes into what we don't know about them. I just thought that was kind of weird. But I'm going to give it a solid 8.3.
Oh, wow.
8.35. That's just under my Spaceballs review. And I think I'm good with that. I think this is obviously a better film. I think it's a better film than Spaceballs.
I thought your space taint was under your Spaceballs.
Good
That is not the name of the episode. Oh. I hate you, Andrew, so much right now. I did get this tweet after I posted that we were doing Arrival. I did get a message from the Varmints podcast. Quote, "One of the best non-franchise sci-fi films I've ever seen. Amy Adams should have won all of the awards."
Really?
Yeah.
That's got to be a joke account. That can't be real.
That's a podcast. So
That's a podcast.
Wait, you mean a podcast actually responded to us?
yeah, I
That's weird.
yeah, not really that often, but I mean, and frankly, most people that respond to or interact with me on Twitter are other podcasts. Listeners, other than listener Andrew, for the most part, don't. So, not trying to put a guilt trip, just saying that's just what it is. Though I did post the video that I sent you guys that I saw the fake Avengers Infinity War video made from clips of the 80s. I posted it and hashtagged no spoilers, and Billy sends in tweets at me. It's been over a week. Past the time to ask for no spoilers. Good luck. So,
Well, I don't know about that.
yeah, I feel like if I said right now what the last 15 minutes, the results of the last 15 minutes of Infinity War, I'm pretty sure I'll get a couple of texts or grumpy emails about it. So.
Yeah.
And Andrew would probably be one of them.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, so that's it. So next week we are going to do a spoiler cast on Infinity War, assuming Andrew sees it this weekend.
I'm going to try.
If
Cause,
Andrew,
we're going to do it anyway.
If Andrew doesn't see it this weekend, I think Courtney just made a decision we're going to do it anyway. The next movie after that is Escape from New York.
Oh, hey guys, I just realized I will be in Nolan's next Wednesday.
Oh, well then.
Okay.
So,
We'll
I can do it from there.
Yeah, you're gonna do it from New Orleans. You're gonna.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I guess.
Do it from Bourbon Street.
Oh, that sounds like a bad idea.
My hotel's on Canal Street, so that'll be fun.
Right on. All right. Well, that's it. That's our show. Again, next week we will do spoiler cast for Infinity War. I know by the time that we'll air it, it'll be like 3 weeks after the movie, 4 weeks. I mean, the movie will literally be almost a month old, but
So it'd be a good time.
yeah, I think that's fine. And maybe one or two of us will have had a chance to watch it again. I don't know.
Seriously, Andrew, if you're interested, I'll go with you.
Okay.
So that's it. That's the show. Thank you for listening. Yeah, I have to go to my script because I can't remember what I'm supposed to say now. Oh, I'm supposed to say things like, that's what we're doing next week. GoFundMe.com/Cheapseat Reviews is still a thing.
What is such thing?
You don't have to, Courtney.
Legal in most states.
I'm just saying. Wait, hold on. What?
Oh, fun.
Our Anchor app, Sam and I finally did Ready Player One a couple weeks ago, and I discovered I have about 7 episodes I accidentally saved in my drafts and never published. So Anchorcast is about to get flooded with a bunch of movies that are about 4 years old. You can leave us review iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, YouTube, all those places that you consume. Again, the website's still down. Working on a solution. Unfortunately, the solution costs money, and
nobody has it right now.
None of us have any right now, and only 3 of us have jobs. So there's that. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Cheapseat Reviews, and you can follow us on Twitter at CheapSeatCast. I can't even talk. And of course, you should, but won't send your emails to cheapseatreviews@gmail.com. I'm really not bitter. I'm really not. I'm tired.
Hey, you know what? Sean, I'll do you one better. Y'all not man enough to email us. That's what
is that what you're going to challenge me? I guess I should have maybe paused or whatever, but on behalf of Sam, Corn, and Andrew, this is Sean saying thank you for listening and good night. I mean, maybe I should just do the outro in post, but I always feel like if I don't, I'll just keep talking because, having the music as a way to cut me off is a better way to actually, because I'm still recording now, so this is still part of the podcast.
Oh, so this is like the behind the scenes.
If we
if
can
I drop an F-bomb right now.
Don't. Because I'll just stop the recording and pack it up a little bit.